Good evening. We have a video for you, and this one you need to pay a lot of attention to because it's not an easy one to teach because of how many stories been told on this subject. So I want you to see this. The mark of the beast revealed, 666, question mark. The mark of the beast revealed, 666. It's very important to listen to this one carefully because you're dealing with an esoteric writing. So you cannot in no way possible read this and understand it. Just read it literally and understand it. And so it's going to be all eyes on me, all eyes on what I'm saying, because without paying careful attention to this, you will not get it. 666 is nothing compared to what you need to know about this. 666 is just some numbers for you to use in English gematria to understand what the key words are that they want you to see. Because most people have been told by the mark of the beast, something going to be in your hand and your head. People tell you that they're going to put a chip here and chip there, and they got nothing to do with none of that. But that's what they have told you. And so we have to get you beyond that. So be open-minded as I teach this lecture, because you're going to need that open-mindedness to see and catch the golden nuggets that I'm going to give you as I teach this. It's very, very important for you to see this now. Extremely important. Now, the subject, mark of the beast revealed. We're going to start with Revelation. Revelation 13:2. Revelation 13:2. Okay? And you're going to see this. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Now, you have to single that out. The dragon gave him his power, his seat, and great authority. Those three things have a lot to do with the mark of the beast. And you got to see that. The dragon gave him. You got to understand what the dragon is. The dragon is known as, a lot of people don't understand, but you could take the dragon and say Satan. Okay, what is Satan? Why did the dragon give him his seat and great authority? Because Satan is created by the minds of man. In the dark age, the devil controls all this, but Satan is created by the minds of man. Man's righteousness and his filthiness is what Satan is all about. So that's why I say your righteousness is like filthy rag, and you'll see me read that scripture. What you got to understand in the dark age, coming out of this dark age, is the time that the devil ruled, and Satan is connected to the devil because Satan is in the minds of man. When man decides to do something, and I'm going to show you an example, and I don't want to go too much in it. You see these demigods and these peoples like Hitler, like Mussolini, like Stalin, and many more. I'm not just talking about them individuals, many more. You got to understand that these individuals was doing things that they thought was right. You got a Chinese one as well, one that was in Japan, you know, when they bombed Pearl Harbor and all that. And this guy, he was one of the military men. These people thought they was doing a lot of things right. You had Germany, because I'm going to switch back and forth with these characters. You had Germany with Hitler. Hitler ended up shooting people and just getting behind the Jews and just blowing their brains out. Had them men just blow the brains out and push them in these holes and stuff and just covering them up and all this. These tragedies, these things happen because that's Satan. Mind of man. Man think that, hey, I want this Aryan race. I want this knotted race of people. I want this, I want that. In Asia, they had me. In Japan, they had their thing. Oh, man, Russia. These people killed billions and billions of people, and most people celebrate these people as great folks because they're in the dark age, but these people was warlords. There was warlords, and they could come at this time and be warlords and kill many people. And our president, the one who released that darn atomic bomb, he's in the book group 2. Don't try to, let's be straight and real now. Let's be straight and real. All these warlords, they appear to be good peoples. And in man's righteousness, and some people celebrate these peoples as real good people. Help us get this, help us get that. See, we talk about Germany and Hitler, but Hitler them was during the same time we had the Depression. Hitler them had theirs too. And he brought them out of that condition that they was in, that everybody had jobs, etc., and all this stuff. And you got to see this now, because sometimes people will look at these individuals and don't realize that these warlords have been for the last 100, 200 years. We done had these warlords in our midst. And we celebrate them as heroes and this and that. And they go and kill this many people and that. When we look at it, oh, it ain't happening in our land. But we got to start seeing what they are. These peoples and the government that spring these peoples up. Because nobody is talking about these peoples, these kings, and these royals that they are fighting for. You hear Hitler and what Hitler do, but you don't hear of that person that's a king or a royal in Germany. You don't hear that. You hear what people like Stalin do and stuff, but you don't hear about that royal family in Russia. You hear things that China do, in Japan do and all that, but you don't hear about the royal family in there. They leave them out. You never hear, when you talk about tragedy and all this destruction, you never hear them bring those individuals up. And see, you're not looking at this thing clearly, because what they do, they don't let you get on top of the pyramid and look down. They got you at the bottom trying to look up, and you can never see the real truth trying to look from the bottom up. You got to look from the top down. You got to get an aerial view of this thing to be able to see what's really going on. Because they don't talk about these individuals who look at themselves as God-type figures, these kings and royals and emperors and all czars and all the other individuals. See, they don't talk about them. Never do you hear them talk about them. You always hear them talk about other individuals. And but one time you can see them bring out a little bit about them during the French Revolutionary War. You'll see them talk a little bit about that. How France and the people took that power and it was really one group of the power against the other group of the power, but how they did that at that time. And you got to see this because it's very important. You're dealing with powers that you got to see an aerial view of these powers. You cannot just see from the bottom up. You got to have an aerial view of what's really going on. Because Hitler was only a part of it. Hitler was only a kingpin for the others. Okay? Hitler was not the one at the top. Okay? And you got to see that. Although Hitler was carrying out their wishes, but Hitler wasn't the top man at the very top. Okay? And you got to see that. It's like the guy in England. Okay? Churchill. Churchill was going things, and Churchill was after Germany had bombarded Churchill and all that, and bombarded England and all that. Churchill wasn't the big man of the house. The crown was the big man of the house. Okay, these individuals are expendable. Okay, and you got to see that. You got to start chasing this power structure all the way back to the Vatican and all the way back to the crowns. And see, people don't talk about them. They leave them out. They leave them out. Okay, and you got to chase it all the way. You got to chase that power all the way back to see what's really going on. Because Satan is at the head of it. I mean, the devil is at the head of it. And Satan is the ideology of man's mind and how they take their right and their wrong. And they could destroy a lot of people in the dark age, which they have the authority to do it. Because it's Satan, it's the devil reign. And if you want to use a Satanist-minded people, and you may celebrate them as some good folks, that's your prerogative. You can do what you want to do. But what it is, them warlords cannot go into this other age that we're dealing with now. Okay? So some changes got to be made. And the reason why them royal families permit that, because they don't want that part to be fulfilled. That Illuminati, the luminant ones, the light ones. We got to talk about the light ones. The light ones, they don't want the true light ones to take over, because they know when the true light ones take over, a lot of those royal families going to be excluded, going to be taken out of the picture. Okay, and they don't want that. So they want to maintain that power. So you got what you said, the luminant ones that done got on the dark side, they working for those individuals. Okay, and then you got the luminant ones on the light side. They are caught up inside these environment, but yet they maintain who they are. And they separate from them, although they within the mix. And you got to see that. And some power finna be shaken up around here. And you got to see this in what's going on. And some power is about to be shaken up. And you finna see this world shaken up like never before. Because this mark of the beast environment, it got to be diminished. It got to be diminished so God could have that age of peace, the peacemakers. The peacemakers got to come on the scene. In the dark age, it's the warlord. But now the peacemakers got to come on the scene. You got to see this. Let's carry this on. Revelation 13:18. Here is wisdom. Let him, thought, has understanding. Him, thought, the person who connected the thought, have understanding. Count the numbers of the beast. And his number is, now you got to separate this. Most people say 666. They just say that, 666. No. It's talking about 600. It's 3 scores is 60, and then 6. Now, what number are you going to get out of this? You're going to get a 6, because you got 2 zeros. Okay? You got a 6, you got 1 0, and you got a 6. So you're concerned about 6, 6, and 6 to give you some identification mark to this. And it say count it. So if you count it, you got to go into the arts. And the arts that you're going to go into is English geometry or art. You got to go into it. You got to know how to stage it, put it in place. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's setting it up for English geometry. Now you need to know. Now you got 6, so you want to go where the 6 set. You need the 6. So what is on top of the 6 is an F. Okay, so you see an F. So why is that F is important? Because F is going to deal with what he's got. F is about fear. Fear is about power. Okay, so F is about fear. Fear is about power, because what did it say? That he give him power. So if he got you fearing him, he got power over you. Okay? And you got to understand that. When I say him, I mean the system. Satan's system. The system of the world. They'll keep you in fear because they want to control you. So they'll bring up things that, like I said, like the pandemic. Issues that, pepper. Like the pandemic. Okay? Pandemic breakout. Okay? Let's look at it now. The pandemic breakout. First, dealing with the economics. Okay? Right before then, 2019, 3,500 banks closed, okay? Then you have them, okay, in the beginning of 2020, it was nothing really right away in the first month. But then all of a sudden, you find in California, we find that one COVID case in California. I want you to pay attention to this. One COVID case in California. Then on the news the fake media show you, then boom, within less than 2 weeks or 3 weeks, bam, 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 all these states got COVID. All these states start getting COVID. Now it started in California. But for some reason, it done bounced all these different states, all these thousands of miles, hundreds of thousands of miles, it done bounced around here, there. Come on. Come on, can't y'all smell the game? Can't y'all see the game? Now, people don't want to talk about this. They don't want to show the truth. But when you got peoples in power and they care nothing about your life, see, the warlords don't care how many of you die. in the dark age, at the end of the dark age. I don't care nothing about that. See, when I seen Satan, when Satan came to me in a vision, the warlords was riding with him. And he came and talked to me telepathically. That's why I know they there. That's why I can identify them, because the warlords been running this under those crowns. They're warlords, my people. They're warlords. And you got many warlords and you celebrate them. Oh, Alexander the Great, he was so great. He was a warlord. And you got to see this. You got to see what's going on. And these warlords, when you begin to see how this thing works, and I'm going to show you in the procession of the equinox how you see this, these warlords been working for the devil. And their mind is Satan-oriented, Satan consciousness. And that energy has spread it all over your society. And you breathe it, you live it, you act it without knowing you're a part of it. And you got to see how the mark of the beast is. You waiting for something to be on your arm or your hand or on your forehead? Come on. You got to understand what the forehead means. You got to understand what the right hand means. That's political. When you put something in your right hand, you put it in a political gesture toward a political meaning. When you put it in the forehead, you put it in your consciousness. This is something that, in your mind, this is something that you're going to see as a reality. And you're going to present and walk in your narrative with that reality. And you got to see this, my people. You got to see this now. You got to see where we're coming from with this. Because you got fear, you got faith, and you got fun. And this is what they use. This is what the 666 means. You got it. F, F, F. And you got to understand that. So you got fear because they want you to be afraid. You got faith because they want you to believe in them. They want you to believe in them. They want you to believe in what they're doing. This system wants you to believe in the political process. This system wants you to believe that when you need something, come to the government.